Pedro Alvarez, Andrew McCutchen, and the Pittsburgh Pirates getting ready to play Game 3 of their 4-game series, their final regular season homestand of the year. And it is Game 3 against the Chicago Cubs. The Pirates winning the opening game, but fell to the Cubbies last night, and earlier the Reds beat the Brewers. So right now the Pirates a game back of the Cardinals, who Cardinals will play the Mariners a bit later on, and the Reds trail the second-place Pirates by just 2 games. So get behind last night's ball game, forget about it, move on tonight to take it one game at a time, and that's exactly what Garrett Cole did, Bob, his last time out against Yu Darvish. He was asked to really step up, and boy, did he ever.
It was amazing to see him in that situation. We had just lost 4 in a row, just got swept by the Cardinals, the team we're in this pennant race with. And he goes into Texas to face one of the best hitting American League clubs in that ballpark. It's great to hit in. And what did he do? Boy, did he put on a show for Nolan Ryan, who was just sitting a few feet away from all of that. Of course, Ryan, a legendary power pitcher, and this was a legendary type outing by Cole. Just dominant. He would get ahead with that high 90s fastball, and then he started with that breaking ball, getting the chases downstairs one after another. What a great start to watch.
I'm looking for him to pick up on that tonight, and he'll be opposed by veteran Scott Baker, who was signed as a free agent this year by the Cubs. He had Tommy John surgery April of last year. Bobby had a setback in spring training, so he didn't make his first Cubs start until last Sunday against the Brewers, and Dale Swaim was quite pleased with it.
Yeah, he threw a ton of fastballs, really worked the ball upstairs. Not real hard, didn't have great velocity, but he did the job. He only gave up a couple of hits. Only 5 innings, that's probably what they're going to get out of him tonight.
Scott Baker on the mound against Garrett Cole. The Pirates, of course, had consecutive home runs last night. The inside the Parker by Pedro Alvarez, followed up by Russell Martin's blast over the wall and left, and the liner over the center field fence by Garrett Jones. Buccos look to keep blasting on a fireworks night. Sellout crowd, Bucks, Cubs, coming up next.
Root Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
Back at PNC Park, it is a spectacular night here in the Berg. Pirates and the Cubs. Here's game 3 of their 4-game weekend series, and the Padres are in for 4, and then next weekend the Reds for the final regular season series. And here comes Garrett Cole, making his 17th Major League start. He was so impressive his last time out against the Texas Rangers in Arlington. Fans fired up. Here is the Cubs starting lineup. Starlin Castro will lead things off. Will be followed by Luis Valbuena, and then Anthony Rizzo. Last night, his 33rd multi-hit game of the season. Of course, hit the game-winning home run off Jason Grilli. Nate Shearholtz hits cleanup. Ryan Sweeney follows. Brian Bogasevic had a big night last night. He's in left. Wellington Castillo does the catching with Darwin Barney at second and Scott Baker on the mound.
Take a look at Cole's numbers, brought to you by Chevrolet. They are very good. 7-7 record. I understand that's just 500, but for a young guy with just 16 Major League starts, he has been pounding the strike zone. Just 21 walks, 75 strikeouts. That's going to be picking up more and more as long as he starts using that breaking ball like he did against Texas.
Defense behind Garrett Cole, Jose Tabata, Andrew McCutchen, Marlon Byrd in the outfield left to right. Pedro Alvarez, Justin Morneau on the corners, Jordy Mercer and Neil Walker up the middle, and Russell Martin catches Garrett Cole, making his 17th Major League start tonight. Marlon Byrd had the night off last night. He has been playing, I'll go back to late September when he started playing winter ball for the first time in his career. So a well-deserved day off for Marlon Byrd. The Pirates will have one more day off the rest of the way. That will be coming up on the 26th of this month. Russell Martin and Pedro Alvarez, part of that wild fourth inning. Alvarez the inside the park home run, then Martin and Garrett Jones. Pirates go back to back to back in Pittsburgh for the first time since July of 1955. Hoping to be waving a lot of those tonight. Pirates get back on the winning track. Andrew McCutchen.
It'll be another loud night. The crowd, the inning where they were hitting all the home runs was just amazing. The energy that they were pumping out. That inside the park really got them going. Pedro just flying around those bases. I really was amazed. I looked down. Cole, this is a little bit inside with that first pitch, to see where Pedro was, and he was already rounding third.
I asked him if he had ever had an inside the park home run before. He said, I'd played in ball fields that didn't have any fences.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I meant like in the minor leagues. No. I said, well, weren't you pumped up when you saw Nick Leyva waving you from third? He goes, well, every time you approach third, you have to expect it. So he was very matter of fact about it. Nick Leyva says that he thinks Alvarez is in the best shape of his life, is lighter than ever and faster than ever. 2-1 the count. And an opposite field blooper going to drop in for a hit to start this ball game. Starlin Castro singles to right. Leadoff hit. Castro was 1 for 5 last night.
Ball was not in a bad spot. Got up there and jammed him. But a little blooper. That's one of the advantages of the more strikeouts that Cole can achieve. Give up less hits like that. You can't bloop one in if you're walking back to the dugout after chasing a breaking ball down in the dirt. But you got to get ahead. You got to get to 2 strikes first to make that work.
Luis Valbuena had 2 strikes on him in the 7th inning last night. Got to 3-2. Jason Grilli's pitch just missed. Could have really gone either way. Doug Eddings, the home plate umpire last night, called it ball 4, and that was critical because Anthony Rizzo followed with that towering home run, the difference maker, as the Cubs won it 5-4. the dirt. So the umpires rotate. Dana DeMuth now behind the plate, the crew chief, with Mike Esterbrook at first, Paul Nart at second, and Doug Eddings at third. First career appearance against the Cubs tonight. Valbuena 0 for 3 with that walk. Castro will run on occasion. He has not been all that successful so far this season. Castro with 8 steals but caught 6 times. It's a 2-1 count on Valbuena. We always point out the job that Russell Martin has done this year. You've been watching Pirates baseball this season. You know very well the job he's done. That's driven deep to center field. Back is McCutchen. He makes the catch. Sounded good off the bat. Valbuena drives it to McCutchen at the warning track in center. And now Anthony Rizzo, 2 for 5 last night. This came with a man on and 2 outs. The Pirates had taken the lead in the bottom of the 6th. The top of the 7th. Rizzo with his 22nd home run, his first in the month of September. He had gone through a long drought, and really the Pirates have done an excellent job leading up to that home run, pitching to Rizzo this season.
On that particular pitch, got a breaking ball that was down and in, but not out of the strike zone, down and in. It was just in that bottom corner, and a lot of left-hand hitters, especially with power, that's their happy spot. And Rizzo just dropped the head of the bat right to it, and when he did, you knew that he had plenty to get out of here. And the only question was it going to stay fair or go foul? It was almost high enough to go over the top of the foul pole. That's what a majestic type home run it was.
Home run number 22 for him. Almost sent into the river. Landed on the river walk. Now he falls behind 2-0. Even with that home run, just his 6th hit in 50 at bats this season against Pirates pitching. He later, the 9th inning, had a base hit, so he is hitting 137 against the Pirates this year. Cole has fallen behind Rizzo 2-0. 3-0.
Cole is 11 pitches. He's missed the strike zone 7 times now. This is not like him.
On Anthony Rizzo. And a 4-pitch walk. Tonight's Barrel Automotive League leaders stat. Rookie leaders in strikes to walk ratio. Garrett Cole, the best among these rookies. Julio Teheran, Jose Fernandez, Shelby Miller, and Hyun-Jung Ryu. Barrel Automotive were driven to be better. And Garrett Cole is a driven individual. See how he fares against Nate Schierholtz. Inside ball 1.
The fastball is the pitch he seems to be missing with.
Another pitch out of the zone. A base hit, a fly ball to the track, and a 4-pitch walk to Rizzo. Fastball fouled back by Schierholtz. Hitless in 3 official trips last night, but he walked to lead off the 2nd inning, and he would score the first run. Came in on a ground out. Charlie Morton gave up 3 runs on 5 hits in 4 innings, and Clint Hurdle was adamant about the fact that Morton didn't have his best stuff, but when all was said and done, he thought he did a really solid job. Didn't miss by a lot there. 97. Falls behind Shearholt's 2-1.
Well, that one didn't miss at all, according to the strike zone. Watch this one, Greg, right at the knees. I mean, that's easy.
It's a great pitch, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, you got to get that call.
Yeah, what do you got to do? It wasn't a breaking ball either. That's a fastball.
That's pretty incredible. Toward right center field, hit well. Bird has to play on the hop. This is going to score at least one. They're going to wave the second. Here comes the throw toward the plate. It is a quick throw, and out at the plate is Rizzo. On the relay from Bird to Walker to Martin. A 1-0 Cub lead, and Shearholtz ends up at third.
They would have probably right now a little second guessing themselves for getting somebody thrown out the plate with just a 1 out. A high fastball got picked on. Bird barehanding that ball. He always gets the quick throw off. And then a nice, strong, accurate throw by Walker. Plenty of time. It turned out to not even be close.
Strike on Sweeney. Double for Shearholtz. Marlon Bird, boy, he has been tremendous defensively, and Walker the strong throw to the plate, and out in front of Sweeney 0-2.
Maybe that good defensive work that'll get Cole going. Jumps out 0-2.
That breaking ball is dribbled back to the mound. That'll do it. A little lob toss there. Morneau had to get that arm out of there. So Garrett Cole gives up a couple of hits, a run. Pirates come to bat. That run on the double by Shearholtz. Here's the Pirates starting lineup. It's brought to you by Toyota. Jose Tabata will be followed by Neil Walker and Andrew McCutchen. Justin Morneau hits cleanup. Marlon Bird follows him. Pedro Alvarez had inside the Parker last night. League leading 33rd Dinger. Russell Martin, Jordy Mercer, Garrett Cole, the starting 9 for Pittsburgh. Jose Tabata will face Scott Baker. Tabata against the right-hander.
Baker, a pretty nice career numbers, well over 500, 160 starts. But he's been on the long road back from Tommy John.
His first career start against the Pirates. The Pirates have seen Baker in spring training over the years. against the Minnesota Twins. Baker turns 32 this Thursday. 6'4", 216 pounds, a native of Shreveport, Louisiana. And a control specialist much of his career, but he falls behind Tabata 2-0. Tabata was on base 3 times last night. Leadoff walk, a couple of hits. Fly ball to right. Shearer holds back a few steps. 1 out. Tabata flies out to the right fielder Shearholtz. Baker will get his share of fly ball outs. So we'll check out the outfield. Shearholtz in right, Sweeney in center, Bogusevic in left. Luis Valbuena, Starlin Castro on the left side of the infield. Darwin Barney won a Gold Glove last year. Anthony Rizzo at first, and Wellington Castillo catches Scott Baker. Rizzo pretty solid defensively as well over at first. Dale Swain trying to be as patient as he can with this club, and figures to be around for a while, as he has tried to handle Starlin Castro as best as he can. Going to pay a little bit more attention. He's had his occasional lapses and pulled from games last couple of years. Oh, and to the count on Neil Walker. He was 0 for 4 last night. Walker with just 6 hits in 39 at-bats this season against Cubs pitching. Now he has hit safely in 12 of his last 13 games here at PNC Park. Fly ball to center. 2 fly ball outs to start the bottom of the first.
Yeah, you don't like to see that off Baker. You want to see line drives. He's just, going to throw up there in the upper 80s, 87, 88, 89. That's going to be where he's at with that fastball. He's going to throw a ton of them, and most of them are going to be bell high or higher. He wants you to try and hit the ball to the outfield. You just said, Greg, he's looking for those flyouts.
Andrew McCutchen comes to the plate, carrying an 11-game hitting streak, batting .462 during this current stretch of games. Strike 1 on McCutchen. 2 more hits last night, 176 hits on the year. Second most in the league, and his .328 average is 3rd best. He's 7 points back of Michael Kadire of the Rockies. He's actually tied for second with Chris Johnson of the Braves in the batting race. Oh, 0-2 on McCutchen. And he chases upstairs. And 1-2-3 go the Bucks. After 1, it's a 1-0 Cubs lead.
Marte, who earlier today was able to take some early BP, and the Pirates are trying to work him back into a position where he can be a productive member of this lineup. And today, with that early BP session, he was able to take some more swings. Now, here's going to be the issue, Greg, that you're dealing with Starling Marte, is that you watch after the swing, he kind of grimaces a little bit. That's not going to change between now and the rest of the season. Clint Hurdle said this is going to be a pain management thing the rest of the way. If we're going to try to get him pain-free by resting him, he's not going to play till 2014. So it's going to be a matter of how much pain he's able to play with and how much he can endure while also being productive in that Pirates lineup. Now, the key is here, he's already off the DL, as we well know, that he's been playing, but don't be surprised to see him make an appearance in the batter's box tonight. Hurdle said, look, this is what we're dealing with. This is how it's going to be the rest of the way. So hopefully, if he can get in there, he could be a contributor. But he did say he felt better after taking those swings ultimately when he had a few minutes after the rest.
And you know, Robbie, he really does need to, if he wants to be part of the postseason, he has to get in there and hit. Because it's the other thing Clint Hurdle said was, yeah, I can use him just to pinch run or play some defense the next couple of weeks, but I'm not going to carry him just for that in the playoffs. So it will come down to whether Marte can get through the discomfort and the pain and contribute offensively.
Because he hasn't hit in so long, too. He needs to start stockpiling some at-bats. You know, get his eye down, get his swing back. Obviously, you can't go down the minor leagues now and do any of that kind of stuff. So it has to be done here. He needs to get started.
And he's 2-2 on Brian Bogusevic. Garrett Cole walked a man, gave up 2 first-inning hits and a run. He picks up his first strikeout of the night. One up, one down in the second. 1-0 Chicago. Allegheny Health Network injury update. Wandy Rodriguez is going to be shut down for the rest of the year. He just can't seem to pitch through that discomfort. Nothing structurally wrong with him. Dr. James Andrews checked him out, but Wandy Rodriguez is just not able to pitch through it. So they're going to shut him down the rest of the way. And that's a disappointment. He could have been a contributor down the stretch.
Well, hopefully, you know, after the winter off, he'll come back. It'll be pain-free in spring training, and could be a big contributor next year.
Wellington Castillo takes ball 2. Did not play last night. Started behind the plate Thursday. It was 0 for 3. A broken bat fly ball to center. Barrel of the bat winds up toward third. Pedro Alvarez will head over that way. Bat boy going to grab it as well. Shattered the bat.
Right on the label. Always like it when you see little chips coming off too. Not just the 2 pieces, but also the little chips here and there.
As a pitcher, you like that?
Oh yeah, you know, you really blew one
Not
up.
just enough to break a bat, blow it up.
Yeah,
right?
I've never actually saw that happen from the mound, but I saw it from the dugout a few times. It's fun, as long as the other team. Even if it's your team, it's fun.
Because then you can get on when he
You
comes
can make
back.
fun of
Say,
him a
boy, you
little
really,
bit.
you really saw Joff. Line drive off the glove.
How about
He got
that?
it back again,
Got it.
and he got the out. How about the acrobatic Pedro Alvarez? He combined his baseball skills with little basketball skills. A little Cirque du Soleil. off. Now, El Toro a little.
You know, baseball is one of those sports, Greg, where you have judging, and you got to throw up a 9.8 on this one, don't you? With a little jump there, Kean. I'll go 9.9 because of the little jump.
Did he get up there almost? Right. That would have been a spectacular catch on the line drive.
Now here comes watch the legs come off the ground, the jump. Way up off the ground. Get as much as he can on the throw, and ends up throwing him out by quite a bit. Nice little play on the back end.
Two-hopper. Morneau and Baker, longtime teammates with the Twins, face off against each other for the first time. Morneau hitting .256 with the Pirates, hit .259 with 17 homers with the Twins. Looking for his first Pirate homer. He's 0 for 7 in this series. Baker was originally drafted by the Pirates 13 years ago out of high school. 2-1. He decided not to sign out of high school. Instead, he went to college at Oklahoma State. And 3 years later, 2003, was drafted by the Twins in the second round. And up the middle. Diving stop, Castro. But can't get a hand on it. A base hit for Morneau.
Oklahoma State, huh? That's where he ended up. Baker.
Nice play by Morneau, by Castro, but not able to grasp it. Great reaction. So Morneau gets the infield hit. And Marlon Byrd at the plate. Fouled off by Byrd. No, he did not start last night. He did pinch hit in the 6th inning, and he had an infield single. Stayed in the game, had another bat and grounded out. That's okay to write it, just don't have Steve Blass sing that. It's really bad.
Very talented singer.
No, he's not.
He's a songwriter.
Yes.
Also.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely a songwriter. To the count on Marlon Byrd. "16 games with Pittsburgh. He's batting .322.
You look at what he has done as a Pirate. It's like the Pirates put another McCutchen in the lineup. Batting average, the pop in his bat.
Defense.
Yeah, he does a great job out on defense. Maybe doesn't have quite the foot speed, but he's been around a long time. Has a lot of know-how out there. Does a great job with the throws, getting rid of the ball very quickly.
Byrd is 5th in the league in slugging. 22 home runs, 80 ribbies, 9 RBIs with the Pirates. Byrd strikes out. 2 Ks for Scott Baker.
McCutchen and Byrd.
Now, Pedro Alvarez probably didn't expect this to be his 33rd home run and inside the Parker. See that fan kind of glance off his hands. That went as an inside the park home run. You and I on the radio side were a bit surprised that the Cubs didn't come out and at least ask for a review.
Yeah, they had nothing to lose on that play. Pedro obviously had circled the bases. All they could have done was change it to fan interference. But there was no argument.
Crew Chief Dana Demuth. Vote for Pedro. You've seen the cult classic, Napoleon Dynamite. That was the slogan used throughout that movie. Vote for Pedro. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alvarez with 91 ribbies, 6th in the league. Here's another look. Watch fans seemingly reaching over. But no argument at all from Sweeney, who leaped up, or even from Shearholtz, who was watching it.
Now, watching that replay there, I'm pretty sure that the only thing that would have happened was they would have changed it to a regular home run, perhaps. But that situation, as I said before, you got to find out what the umpire is going to say. But your outfielders have to let you know. Neither outfielder really did anything. And from the dugout, that probably looked like it just hit the fence.
And a foul tip. Back-to-back strikeouts. Scott Baker has struck out 3 of the first 6.
He's not really throwing very hard. That one is best fastball tonight, but just 91. But he's throwing it by the Pirates at this point.
Baker with his 2nd start.
He only had 1 strikeout through his 5 innings in his first start. He's already picked up 3 here tonight.
Also Martin takes ball 1. It is 14th home run last night. 14th home run of the year. And hits this high in the air to shallow left. And Bogusevic will make the catch. Lead off infield single, and that's it. 1-0 through 2.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin mattress stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
It is a 1-0 Cub lead going to inning number 3 at PNC Park. Buccos and Cubs will conclude this series tomorrow.
Kind of like a Star Trek movie, The Next Generation.
Certainly a lot of young fans on hand to watch the Pirates once again tonight. Scott Baker takes a strike. 0 for 1 in his start on Sunday. He's 3 out of 26 in his career. A longtime Twin. Garrett Cole. The run allowed, a walk, and 2 hits in the first inning, a 1-2-3 second. And takes care of Scott Baker. Second strikeout, easy for Garrett Cole. And there is Jamie Dixon, Pitt basketball coach. Congratulations to the football team. Won across the street at Heinz Field rather easily, 49-27. We'll see Jamie Dixon on occasion throughout the summers, taking in a Pirate ball game.
Should be a nice doubleheader. Football is just absolutely gorgeous afternoon. The big win, come across the parking lot, stop in the parking lot for a little while. Just kind of relax out there and come on in here to PNC for the nightcap. Great day of sports.
It's that time of year. Feel it, right? Fall weather.
This is what I like. This is what I like.
Yeah. Should be a spectacular day tomorrow too, Bob. Two and 1 the count on Castro. Opposite field bloop single to start the game, and he scored on the Shearholtz double. Falls behind does Cole, 3-1 on Starlin Castro a couple of years ago. Led the league in hits. 207 hits. This 23-year-old, very talented Dominican player, all-star 2 straight years, takes a strike.
You look at what he did his first couple of years in his youth, how young he was. You're thinking he could be starting out on a Hall of Fame career, but this year was a pretty big step back for him. He'll have a lot to, I think, look forward to, but also to prove come next year when they head to Arizona. This is a season he's going to want to get behind him.
Career in his 4th season, 3rd full year.
Think of that, 23 years old. I mean, look what he's already done. RBIs, home run, middle infielder.
Cole comes back and gets him. Football season underway. You can get the latest on your favorite teams during Press Conference Tuesday on Root Sports. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin takes the podium first, live at noon, followed by Pitt's Paul Christ at 1. WVU head coach Dana Holgerson at 1:30. Press Conference Tuesday starting at noon on Root Sports. Luis Valbuena shows bunt and he takes a strike. It is 1-1. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Valbuena. another youngster. But we had the Buckaroos Kids Club and their pregame press conference with 4 Pirate players today. Q&A session. And a swing and a miss. 1, 2, 3. And the Cole strikes out the side. And he looks determined. 1-0 Cubs.
We talked about Scott Baker and this being a second start from Tommy John surgery. Talk about the setback that he had. But going into the surgery, the original plan was not to have Tommy John surgery, just other elbow surgery that he was going to have corrected. But they said there was a possibility that Tommy John was going to take place. So they went into surgery. Once they got into his elbow, they decided, okay, they need to reconstruct the UCL. And Baker woke up from surgery. He didn't even look at his elbow. He looked down at his leg, and that's the first time he realized that, oh, my goodness. He rolled his eyes and thought, okay, I had Tommy John. Here goes the road to recovery. So kind of a weird deal the way the whole thing went down. Of course, you mentioned the setback. That cost him 2 months. Dealt with a forearm issue after that. So good to see him coming back. A very quiet guy, but a very effective guy in his career at this point in time.
It's been a long road back, hasn't it, for Scott Baker on the DL twice 2 years ago with the Twins. Finished with a 3.14 ERA, which was the lowest of his career, besting his rookie season of 2005 when he finished with a 3.35 ERA. But had those elbow troubles throughout the summer of 2011. And imagine going in hoping, for best case scenario, you don't have Tommy John, you do have surgery, and you'll be back in a shorter time. But Bob, Tommy John usually takes a year. No guarantees it's going to be a year, as Baker found out with the setback in spring training.
Yeah, I think everybody responds to that in a different way. I do believe that sort of nowadays, in the last decade or so, it's they've got it down to where guys come back much quicker, and then it's more of a sure thing that you're going to be able to pitch again than when they were first doing it. I think of the Tommy John when they first told him what they were going to do. I think what he must have thought when he started throwing again for the first time with a brand new ligament.
He was the pioneer and the guinea pig.
But any of that stuff, any kind of a major surgery on your arm, you make a living with it. It's got to be a tough thing mentally to, one, make the decision, yeah, go ahead and do it, and then two, once it's done, to fight back and get that fear out of your mind that you're going to be the same as you were. Not worry about the failure stuff all over again. That's one of the things that everybody as a rookie comes up. Maybe not everybody. I don't think Garrett Cole is fear of failure, but most rookies come up. They always wonder, am I good enough? Can I do this? Well, I'm sure it's the same way coming back from that major surgery. can I do this? Am I going to be good enough still? We've seen Charlie do it. Very successful at this point.
Mercer leads off, Garrett Cole to follow. Baker has struck out 3. Two and 2, another Oklahoma State product. And Jordy Mercer. And to right field, Shearholt's over. So Baker has retired 7 of the first 8 Pirates he's faced. Got the infield hit off the bat of Morneau, the only Pirate hit so far. Now Baker faces Garrett Cole.
Well, he's not, overpowering by any means. Average fastball velocity is right around 88. But to this point, he's able to stay out of the middle of the bat. The balls hit to the outfield are kind of just the lazy fly ball variety. Picking up some strikeouts.
Now Garrett Cole takes 2-0. Dale Swaim says that Baker will get one more start after this. And that will allow in the rotation Travis Wood, who will start tomorrow, and Jeff Samardzija, and Cole taking all the way backs away. They will get the starts against the Cardinals, the final regular season series in St. Louis. Dale Swaim wants to have his best face the Cardinals. And look at this, Garrett Cole. A one-out opposite field single. A.J. Burnett and the rest of the staff wondering, what is it with this guy? Another hit for Cole, who now has 6 hits to lead the pitchers.
He got that 88-mile-an-hour fastball elevated down the middle, but even Garrett didn't hit it hard. It's just been the same thing. His was just well placed. Whatever reason, nobody able to really get the head of the bat to it and hit line drives on that pitch yet. But you're through the lineup once, you know what it looks like. You see the second time through, we can have some more success.
Those folks are ready for Bucktoberfest.
They have pumpkins on pirate ships.
They will now. Flied out to right. 4 fly ball outs. 3 strikeouts for Baker. He's given up 2 hits. One ball, 1 strike.
Tom, they didn't have to guess at all what they're trying to do to him. This first at bat, everything up and in, up and in, up and in, up and in. First 2 pitches, same thing. Now, that doesn't mean they won't try to throw something somewhere else occasionally. Looks like they're trying to go away here, but
it's just foul.
But you can look up and in because that's where the majority of the pitches are going to be. Remember who the pitcher was that Tonda was facing the other day. He was throwing very hard, 94, 95, and threw one inside off the plate, and he opened up quick and hit a rocket to left field, which he doesn't really do very often. But he was looking inside fastball, and it got what he wanted and was able to open up that front hip of his and just hit a bullet to left.
Going to center.
Another one of those just kind of a lazy fly ball out. And a bunch of those. Ball right on the inside corner. That wasn't where they were trying to throw that ball. It looked to me like a steal. It moved outside.
Walker, fly ball to left. He can't buy a hit. He's hitting under $150 this season against Cubs pitching. Another fly ball out. It's 1-0 Cubs. Cardinals, as you see, a game up on the Pirates. The Reds were winners earlier today, winning 7-3 over the Brewers. Homer Bailey with some help from Aroldis Chapman, Shin-Soo Choo, and Joey Votto with home runs. All aboard the Cole train. Onto the fourth inning. Cole has struck out 4 over the last 6 batters, including 3 in a row. Send along a well wish to Dr. Richard Fish in Uniontown watching tonight. Hoping Dr. Fish is feeling better soon. And also a shout out to the Westbury gang watching Pirates baseball on Root Sports tonight in Central PA. And happy birthday wish to Father Dan Valentine. Happy birthday, Father Dan. Everybody all in.
Everybody's all in.
One of Clint Hurdle's favorite sayings. He joined the Pirates. He was going to be all in after his years in Colorado, joining the Pirates in 2011. As the first batter is Anthony Rizzo. Cole walked him. Rizzo was thrown out at the plate on the Shearholtz double in the first. We have seen Cole kind of stumble early the first inning or two, and and get on a roll as the game goes on. Hopefully that's the case here after he gave up that double to Shearholtz that brought in the run. And on that play, Rizzo thrown out.
First 3 hitters or so of the game, control was a little off.
Oh, that ball ripped down the right field corner. Kept it fair. Bird will get the ball in, and Rizzo is standing at second with a double.
Having a tough time with Rizzo.
He came in to this series slumping badly, and as we said, the Pirates had been pitching Rizzo really tough all season.
Hitting that inside pitch, got a down in ball out of the ballpark last night. This one looked like it was off the plate a little bit inside.
Still expect big things from Rizzo.
Hit that ball hard and kept it fair. It's not easy to do on a pitch that far inside.
They signed Rizzo to a 7-year contract in May.
It's going to be, I think, a must for their rebuild is that he turns out to be that big-time power hitter that they think he can be. Shearholtz wants to pull this ball, wants to move Rizzo to third base if he can. Cole knows that. He's trying to prevent it.
The other way to left, and Tabata.
He doesn't move him. Not a productive out.
We invite you to tweet us using the hashtag BucksBooth. Send your comments, your questions, and your thoughts about the Pirates. And again, use the hashtag BucksBooth. Very pleasant evening here in Pittsburgh. Fouled out of play by Ryan Sweeney. Sweeney hit a comeback or two. Garrett Cole. Former second-round pick of the White Sox 10 years ago, and now playing for the Cubs.
.96 at the knees on the black. Pretty darn good pitch. And have that kind of velocity and have that location. That's the breaking ball that you want to get that check swing on. Might have been just a little bit too far out in the dirt. Start that pitch just a little bit higher. It carries a little further, and that'll get that check swing.
Sharply to Morneau. 2 outs. Rizzo at third. After they lead off double. Morneau, one of the better defenders in all of baseball.
Oh, was hit pretty well. Looked like a one hopper that was trying to get down the line. Morneau kind of guarding the line anyway. Didn't have far to go to pick that one up. Being right-handed, he had the glove over there anyway.
3 errors this season, just 43 in the last 10 years. That's the fewest among all infielders in Major League Baseball. In that stretch, this ball lined foul. Bogusevic struck out in the second.
Hit one in the bushes last night.
Hit that one in the 4th inning, a 3-hit game. Couldn't get him out. He reached on an error in the 8th inning. And in the air to McCutchen. A 12-pitch 4th inning. That double doesn't hurt Cole. Pirates try to figure out Scott Baker in the bottom of the 4th.
We know Andrew McCutchen is a very busy man off the field here in his career with the Pirates, and today he hosted kids from the YMCA Lighthouse Project, an after-school program based out of Westinghouse High School that teaches youth leadership, career readiness through film, photography, graphic design, and music production. Now, here's the deal, Greg. They wanted to take a trip to Prague, and they were trying to raise funds and fell short. So Kutch, along with Pirates Charities, ended up coming up with the rest of the money so they can make the trip over to Prague. And they were to do it as part of the Teen Leadership Conference in Prague. It was a really cool trip. The kids just got back a couple weeks ago and had a great time. So another nice deed done by Kutch. Another good story out of the McCutchen family. Sister Lauren named to the homecoming court. Now that's part of the whole homecoming king and queen. She's one of the princesses down there at Fort Meade High School. And if Lorenzo and Patrina McCutchen are watching right now, I know you're very happy. Andrew was bragging about it today in the clubhouse. So another good day for the entire McCutchen family, Greg.
Keeps getting better, doesn't it, Robbie, with this guy and his great family? Great human being. Can't talk about it enough.
A great representative of baseball, Pirate baseball, the city of Pittsburgh. I think we've mentioned this several times before. Bring it up again. What a tremendous job Kutch's parents did with him. I mean, just a great, great young man.
Great story. How about this?
Twice now.
Baker strikes out McCutchen for the second time, once swinging and now looking. McCutchen really disappointed in that call from Dana DeMuth.
Well, that caught the inside corner up at the top. Not exactly at where you're trying to throw that breaking ball. I mean, that's a mistake pitch. You want that slider down and away. And it just hung up there and broke just enough to catch the edge of the strike zone.
Morneau takes ball one.
Basically, you can watch Castillo. Watch where he starts out with the glove. You know where they're looking to throw that slider. He moves outside on that one. The pitch before that was a slider. He also moved out on that corner. And that's where he did want the slider. He wanted to try and bring the breaking ball over that side of the plate. And there's a left-handed hitter up there that's called backdoor. He wanted the backdoor slider.
Morneau, the infield single in the second. Well, just 2 hits, the other by Garrett Cole against Scott Baker, who figures to go 75 to 85 pitches tonight. Two and two as he faces his former teammate with the Twins, Justin Morneau. Morneau was a third-round pick in 1999 by the Twins. He arrived in Minnesota in 2003. Bounce to third. Balbuena, the shortstop position, throws out Morneau. Baker gets a strikeout and a ground out. It's the first time he's retired a Pirate on the ground. 6 fly ball outs.
Yeah, in a way, you feel good about Baker. He's coming off this surgery thing. He was a very good pitcher before he got hurt. And you want to see guys have success, but not against our team in this situation at this time of year. I'd like to see you start knocking him around a little bit. There we go. Castro.
1-2-3. 1-0 Cubs. All active duty, reserve, veteran, and retired service members and their families. Military members get up to $10 off select game tickets to any remaining Sunday through Friday game. Get tickets at pirates.com/military or go to the PNC Park ticket windows. And of course, we're down to just a couple Sundays. One more Friday. The Pirates' regular season home schedule will conclude 1 week from tomorrow. The Reds will be in. Garrett Cole.
And not much offense on that scoreboard. Most of the hurlers are having it their way.
Not necessarily the marquee matchup we saw in Arlington with Cole locked up against Yu Darvish. But Baker is shutting out the Pirates. Cole last Monday was locked in a 0-0 tie until the 7th inning.
He had to be very proud for a number of reasons, but I still think for somebody that is a power guy, he's got the best average velocity fastball in the league, and to be a power pitcher and go up there and throw that type of game with Nolan Ryan sitting just over to his left a little bit, right there in that front row, and that had to be a thrill to get all those strikeouts, have that radar gun reading going up there at 97, 98 several times.
In the air to deep center field, McCutchen back to the wall. Garrett Cole happy he got an out, but not happy with himself on the pitch.
You can see from his face how happy he was there, Rick. Oh, he didn't like that. See where he was looking. He didn't want to look, but then he had to peek. Well, I know that feeling. And then the ball leaves the bat, and you're not going to watch it. Not going to watch it.
Have you ever not watched it,
and
though?
Then you can't. Yes.
You have?
But it's hard to.
You've actually
hard
not
to
watched
do that,
it.
Yes.
Really? Now that's got to be impossible.
It is. It's hard. There's many times where you start off. This ball's hit the right field, and a little something going here with one out. There's many times where you start off. You're like, no, I'm not going to watch. I know that's out. It's probably out. I better look. And then you look up. But it's such a I think a basic thing, because you're mad at yourself anyway, and the ball is hit, and you're like, oh, what did I do? But then you're just sitting there and you're going, oh, I gotta look, and you look, and then you pick up the baseball, and it's the size of a little aspirin tablet way up there in the black sky, and then you start telling yourself, well, I shouldn't have looked.
But you actually have had moments where you never looked.
Yes, there's been some where it's like
you're so far gone.
Yeah,
you mean?
Yeah. I mean, you'll kind of watch the catcher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll watch maybe the umpire. You see him reach into his bag.
You
for
hear
a
the
new
crowd
ball.
react.
Oh, when the umpire reaches down into his bag and pulls one of these out,
you don't have to look.
Then you don't have to look.
What's going on.
You know where that ball is.
Just give me the ball.
Yeah.
Come on. No 1-1 on Scott Baker, who tried to bunt. Pops this one up. Easy for Russell Martin.
Fastball really right down the middle, belled high, and something that Baker, being in the National League now, after all of his years over with Minnesota, he's going to have to learn to get accomplished, have to help himself with the bat. I'm sure through all this rehab that he's been going through, wondering if he's going to be okay, going to pitch again. The bat probably wasn't a big priority. '97. A number of things that we have learned about Cole watching him first, hand with our own eyes this year is He doesn't seem to lose velocity as the game goes along. You're just as likely to see a 97-mile-an-hour fastball on pitch number 100 as you are first pitch of the game.
Just 23 years old. Turned 23 last week. .6'4", 240 pounds, out of Newport Beach, California. #1 pick in all of baseball 2 years ago. AT&T tweet. How much of a relief is it to hear the crowd react your way when you don't look at a big hit as a pitcher?
Another thing, I guess.
Have you done that before?
You could close your eyes if you want to just listen. I don't think I've ever really done that. I have watched the umpire, watched the catcher get their reaction.
You know, if you were an umpire, I could see you messing with the pitcher. Like I could see you dig into your bag of baseballs and have it ready. Here you go. Nah, just kidding.
You know, they don't do it anymore, but there were some umpires that would make you wait until the runner touched home plate before they would throw you a new ball. Really? I don't know why that was. Some umpires, you know, you want to get it back right away. Some umpires would make you stand out there and wait. I did not appreciate that.
Bet you didn't. And ball 4, he walks Castro. It's his second walk.
The reason you want the ball back right away, because that allows you to now turn your back on the home run hitter that's crossing home plate, and you can turn your back on him and start rubbing up the new ball. Like what is happening at home plate's not really concerning you.
It's no big deal.
But now, if they don't throw you the ball, you have to stand there and watch that with the glove up, saying, "Okay,
come on,
okay, he touched home plate. Now can I have a baseball?"
But if you get the baseball, you're not concerned about that guy that's trotting around the bases just at a home run off.
It didn't happen.
Meaningless. Now, of course, we kid, but there is the responsibility of forgetting about the pitch at times and backing up bases, right? I mean, you do have to get that part of the game. There's a fly ball hot by McCutchen.
Oh, most definitely, yeah. That has to be done.
2 men left on base. Pirates trailing 1-0. Place a deposit from full season to half at 20 game plans. There's a plan that's just right for you. Enjoy great benefits all season long. To place your deposit, go to pirates.com/deposit. Yeah, get your tickets for 2014.
I think that's a new Jolly Roger. Sword on it. All right, let's get to work. Backdoor breaking ball did not quite come in far enough. Pedro starts out head in the count.
One ball, one strike, the count on Pedro Alvarez. Boy, the Pirates just, we talked to Clint Hurdle about this yesterday on the radio show, that the Cubs pitchers, even though the Pirates have won now 8 of the 14 games played, the Cubs pitching staff has done a tremendous job pitching to Pirates hitters the entire season. One ball, two strikes, the count. Pirates have won 8 of 14 games. Espacio, the pitching coach, pleased with certainly they have done against Pittsburgh. This is going to be an out to center field. Another fly ball out. The Cubs team ERA 3.95. It's 11th 15 teams in the National League, and look at how they have really kept the Pirates down. A 216 team average with 117 strikeouts against Pirates pitchers in 15 games. And the Cubs pitchers ranked 12th in the National League. It's not like they have a staff that strikes out a bunch of hitters normally. So whatever they're doing has confounded the Pirates batters. One and two the count. Garrett Jones listening to Pedro Alvarez. Ball hit well towards center field, but Sweeney is going to be there. And another fly ball out.
Just a lot of high fastballs tonight. Becoming confounded myself for a little bit.
9 outs recorded in the air. He has thrown 62 pitches. Garrett Cole, one of the 2 hits against him. Mercer flied out to right field in the 3rd.
Pitches like that one right at the knees. It's not at all where Baker has been trying to pitch everybody.
Rizzo not able to get there.
Very low railing along that side for the first baseman. I got to be careful that they don't go running in there too hard. The stands are, the seats kind of lower than the playing field, and the top of that railing is only a little bit above his knees. You go in there hard, you're easily going to flip over, go into the stands. That was the first thing Kevin Young told me when I came over here from Three Rivers. I was asking him, how do you like the new ballpark? And he was talking about that low railing over there, and how you got to make sure you slow down and don't go into that railing too hard.
fly ball. And the out recorded. 3 fly ball outs. 1-0 Cubs.
Sports is brought to you by Kia. To learn more, visit pghkiadealers.com. By Subway, where winners eat fresh. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
Our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history is on this date in 1982. Richie Hebner and Bill Madlock each hit grand slams. Pirates beat the Cubs 15-5. Randy Neiman, the winner for the Pirates, in relief of Lee Tunnell. Larry McWilliams earned the save, pitching the final 5 innings. Thanks to Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. 1982.
5 innings save? That was an extra. 5 innings save.
Were you teammates at all with any of those? Lee Tunnell, Randy Neiman, or Larry McWilliams?
2 out of 3. Tunnell and McWilliams.
McWilliams with the Pirates, the Braves?
Braves. Well, I think actually both places, Pirates and Braves. And Lee with the. You know how you guys always get on me about the. There's another thing about Larry McWilliams. About the 10-0 game where Rook had to walk back for Philadelphia.
I never get on you for that.
Well, Larry McWilliams was the Philly pitcher that gave up the 10 runs in the first inning.
How about
that? A little Pirate tie in there, huh?
And a quick strikeout of Rizzo. Let's head to the studio for a game break. Paul Alexander. Well, those are great scores to hear. Paul, let's see if the Pirates can take advantage, though. Right now, it is a 1-0 Cub lead. The Pirates have 2 hits off Scott Baker, while Garrett Cole gave up the 1 run in the first inning. He allowed a base hit to Starlin Castro to lead off the ball game. Got Luis Valbuena to fly out. He walked Rizzo, and this man, Shearholtz, doubled home Castro while Rizzo was thrown out at the plate. Shearholtz flied to left field his last time up. Former 2nd round pick of the Giants 10 years ago. Now the career high 20 home runs. Cole has struck out 5. He's walked 2 and allowed 4 hits. And he strikes out another. Back to back. Now 6 on the night.
Yeah, going to that breaking ball now. Starting to see the strikeouts stack up just like the other night in Texas. And a lot of pitches in the strike zone, and that's kind of a mark of a guy with a great arm and great stuff. You get those outs in the strike zone. Get not only outs, get strikeouts in the strike zone. Get the swing and a miss in the strike zone.
Once he gets in a groove, he doesn't like to waste time. 2-1.
He's very serious about the game of baseball, about pitching. Won't show you a lot of big smiles out there. Wants to get that baseball and get it done.
Now he's going to try and finish off Ryan Sweeney, who has grounded out twice. Once to Cole, and the last time one hopper to Justin Morneau. Missed with that fastball. Full count. Pop up, Walker. 1-2-3. Pirates need to get Cole a couple of runs. Head to the bottom of the 6th. 1-0 Chicago. Shots from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. 1-0. And Garrett Cole leads things off. We have an AT&T tweet from Nick Kingham, Pirates' 4th round pick in 2010. Cole going throwback with the pants up. Now all he needs is some stirrups. Nick Kingham, a strong year, finished up at AA Altoona. 6'5", 229-pound pitcher, Nick Kingham.
If there's even English terms in the clubhouse, I have to ask Bones about that. See those anymore.
One ball, 2 strikes to count on Garrett Cole. Pretty strong season for Pirates minor league pitchers, and Brandon Compton is loosening. Maybe just getting in some work. I have to assume that. It's that time of year, you have so many pitchers, and
what are we, 12 out there?
Yeah, we talked to Chris Johnson today on our radio pregame, and he threw a simulated game out there. Need to get some work.
Full bench. It looks like a dugout almost.
Yeah.
All those guys out there. Time of year.
Cole, who singled his first time, bounces to the shortstop Castro. That's 9 in a row retired by Scott Baker. Just 2 base runners against the veteran righty Scott Baker.
Now he's got to be thrilled. He went 5 innings his first time and gave up just was it 1 hit, I believe, in his first outing. And here he's working on inning number 6. He's only given up 2 hits.
A fly ball hit deep by Tabata towards center field. Jose Tabata! Clear the deck. Cannonball coming. It's tied at 1. Tabata's 5th.
Trying to work him up and in an awful lot in this ball game. That ball got down about mid-thigh, right in the middle of the plate. And Talbot, most of the time he tries to stay inside the ball. He's, looking to trying to hit the line drive to right field. Here, I think he went up there trying to just take a rip at one, knowing he was going to get that fastball in the strike zone. With a head down.
That's more like it, folks. Now fired up. It's a bit noisy now. They want to see what they saw last night. Not just Tabata, but then the rest. Tabata's first homer since mid-August. Absolutely woke up this crowd. Fly ball to center field, hit fairly deep. Back is Sweeney to the wall. A long out. Wouldn't that have been something? 2 away.
Thought it had a chance. So the way Sweeney was acting was, to me, like he had to get to the wall. Right about there, when he started taking those little steps, I thought he was getting ready to jump up on the wall. Walker also hoping that ball had enough to, when it's hit that high, most of the time it's either going to be an out or a home run.
It looks similar to the last play of the game last night. Walker against Kevin Gregg sent Sweeney back to the wall in center. Had the same reaction. Chris Bosio checking on Baker. This could be his last batter, and it's Andrew McCutchen because the lefty James Russell is loosening the bullpen. And Baker is on a pitch limit anyway. Left-handed hitting Justin Morneau on deck. Another look at the Tabata home run. Number 5 on the year.
There's that aspirin tablet.
Tabata homers.
Ball got real small real quick.
And now let's see. McCutchen has struck out swinging and struck out looking. How does Baker attack McCutchen? Towards center. And Sweeney is there. So the home run ties it 1-1 after 6 innings at PNC Park. Jose Tabata. It's his 5th home run of the year. It's 1-1. Here at PNC Park. 3rd game of the 4-game series with the Chicago Cubs. Tabata's home run ties it up. Big time crowd on hand. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Tabata has been playing almost exclusively in place of Starling Marte. He's done a solid job, and he homers to tie the game. And now Garrett Cole. Ball 1 on Brian Bogusevic. Two 2-0.
Don't fall in behind. Stay ahead, make them chase.
Three 3-0. He starts it off with a 4-pitch walk to Bogusevic.
Probably get a phone call down the bullpen, you would think. There it is.
The video game that puts you in the owner's suite is now available free on iPhone and iPad. Build your stadium and make the decisions to guide your team to the World Series. Download MLB Ballpark Empire free today. Data and usage rates may apply. Be a good place to start with that guy. Build your franchise. Bogusevic, a little bit of a lean. And stolen a couple of bases. Castillo has twice flied out to McCutchen in center, broken bat, fly ball out in the second, and hit a ball to the wall in center field his last time up. Last year, Bogusevic stole 15 bases in 19 attempts while with the Astros. Line to left. Runners at first and second with no one out.
Bad start to the inning. The leadoff walk and now line drive base hit. .96 off the plate, a little bit inside. I wouldn't think would get pulled like that, but it did. Ray's going to go out and talk about what they want to do right now with Barney, but also this will ensure that the bullpen has plenty of time to do what they need to do.
Barney probably going to try and bunt the runners over. On deck to pinch hit for Scott Baker for now anyway is Deanna Navarro, the switch hitting catcher, and Brian Morris is up in the bullpen.
Morris throwing in a pin. That's another thing that it's so tough to do. Is get those matchups that you want when you're the team on defense, because there's so many different guys over on that bench. They can, they can announce somebody, pull them back, send somebody else up there.
Barney takes ball one. They try and bunt the runners over. 3 sacrifice bunts on the year for Barney. A strike. Barney 1 for 10 in the series. Has grounded into 19 double plays. It's in the top 10 in the league. He was trying to bunt the runners. And he gets this one down. Alvarez to Walker. Sacrifice moves Bogusevic to third and Castillo to second. Deanna Navarro is going to pinch hit. Tweet here from Brian McNulty. Bob, with fall on the way, was it easier to pitch in cold or warm weather? And did the cold wind affect your hairstyle choices?
Nothing affected my hairstyle choices. It was just long in the back, party in the front. Or wait, no. Short. How's it saying? Go party in the back.
Party in the back.
Yeah.
Business in the front.
That's the way. The wind had nothing to do with it. But the cold, I think, is always easier. Not real cold, but like cool, like it is tonight, easy to pitch in. You feel like you have energy the whole game, and hitters always seem to worry about getting jammed when it's cold. They don't like it. Have to be a little colder than tonight for that to really start setting in with the hitters. But cool weather for me, and I think for a lot of pitchers, they like that.
Navarro, a .280 hitter off the bench with 2 homers. Switch hitter batting left-handed, and Cole wants to talk to Russell Martin with the infield in. A critical situation in this ball game. 1-1, second and third, 1 out. And the Mariners leading the Cardinals 2-0 after 5 innings in St. Louis. Garrett Cole.
This is something I think that Cole needs to learn how to do, is really go for that strikeout when he really needs to. This is a situation that demands, or really screams out, don't let him put it in play. Get the strikeout. Go ahead and run 90 feet away. Just 1 out. And this is that situation I think AJ is very good at. And at least from a mental standpoint about what you want to try and do in these situations, Cole could probably learn a lot from AJ. Very similar type pitches, although AJ doesn't quite throw with the velocity anymore that Cole has. AJ used to be able to get it up there in the upper 90s, but he can still come up with that strikeout when he needs it because of that power curveball that he can throw. And the fact that he really, demands from himself, I'm going to make strikeout pitches. I'm not going to give in. If I walk somebody, I walk somebody, but I'm going to strike this guy out. That's the type of stuff that I think Cole has, and he should have that ability where he can get that crucial strikeout when he really needs it.
Infield in close. Well, 1-2, and Navarro not an easy guy to strike out. Navarro has struck out only 29 times in 210 at bats.
This is a tough one to get put in play. That's the perfect hard breaking ball, just a little bit out of the dirt. Looks like it's going to be knee high coming in. That pitch was 85, that breaking ball that just swung and missed. AJ throws his power curve that he works with at 84.
Well, Martin giving up the body to keep that ball in front of him at all costs.
I heard somebody yelling probably from the Pirate bench. Yes, he did. Wanting to get that the strike call on the check swing. Got his throwing hand in it. Stung badly. Blow a little heat in there.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Deoner Navarro, pinch hitting for Scott Baker. That's your big time K, second out.
AJ like that. Got him looking down on those breaking balls. Look at he's trying to stay back. He doesn't want to swing. He doesn't want to get caught. Check swing on the breaking ball. The fastball right by him. Great job right there from Cole. Big time.
Starlin Castro has singled, struck out, and walked. First base is open. Ball 1, and credit Russell Martin. And another block. Gotta really feel like these pitchers have so much confidence with Martin behind the plate.
You look in there and you see that gold Rawlings on his chest.
Tony Sanchez learning a lot from Martin.
Yep.
One ball, 1 strike. Boy, it'd be fun to see Cole. No matter how he gets out of it, if he does, the crowd would certainly react, but they'd be fired up for another punch out.
Look at that one, 97 right on the corner. That was pitch number 100, and he's throwing 97.
As you were saying, second time this season he's thrown over 100 pitches. Bouncing ball to the shortstop, and Garrett Cole has gotten out of it. You don't think he's fired up with what was his last pitch of the night? With the runners at second and third, after the sacrifice bunt, 1 out, he strikes out the pinch hitter and gets Castro to bounce out. We'll keep it right here for Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Home on Root Sports as we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
In a super game. Super season 2013. Pennant race is on in Pittsburgh, and we're looking at, if not a budding ace, he's close to being the guy now. He's just really something, Garrett Cole, what he's been doing. And he gets hugs from his teammates, other pitchers. What a performance.
You know, especially the last couple of games, you can see it just coming out in him. The ability obviously is there, and now he's starting to put it together. He's starting to figure out how to strike people out. He's going to be good for a long time.
Yeah.
He stays healthy. He is going to be one of the dominant pitchers in this National League for quite a while.
He goes 7, gives up 1 run on 5 hits, the 1 run in the first inning, and he just showed his stuff just now. He gives up the leadoff walk, the base hit. Barney bunts them over, and he strikes out the pinch hitter and gets Castro to bounce out. James Russell takes over for Baker. Lefty facing the left-handed hitter Morneau. And a dribbler, first pitch. And Castillo on to first for a quick out in the bottom of the 7th. 1 pitch, Morneau retired 2-3.
I'd like to pass on happy anniversary wishes to Al and Amy, a couple of friends of mine. I'm sure enjoying this great ball game, liking what they just saw out of Mr. Cole. This is really getting to be something that you cannot get away from, as watching the Pirates every night. You got to be locked into that. There's so many people I know that they're always, when you see them the next day, they're making a comment about what they saw in the game the night before. It's just an awesome thing. What the Pirate fans are coming out. They've been out all year.
High fly ball toward right field, nearing the wall. Gone! Marlon Byrd! It is the word. It's 2-1 Bucks.
What a year. What an addition that Byrd has been. Just fabulous. And that makes Cole the pitcher of record for the W. Pirates can hold on. Didn't try to pull that ball. Got the ball on the outside part. Went the other way with it.
1 ball, 1 strike on Alvarez. Another look at the home run to right center. His second as a Pirate, his 23rd of the year. Beware if you're a left-handed pitcher in this National League, because of the weapons the Pirates have to offer from the right side. Marlon Byrd hitting .336 against lefties. Andrew McCutchen .389. Jordy Mercer .429. And if they could get Marte back, .407. Take a look at the fans react to the home run by Marlon Byrd. Second as a Bucco, his 23rd of the season.
We've heard from so many people about their memories of the 90, 91, 92 season, and of course most of them talk about it, as kids watching that. And everybody in this ballpark tonight, everybody that's watched these games on Root Sports all year long, they are going to remember this season for a long time.
Alvarez lines out to center.
This will be one of the things they're talking about. in the future. They'll talk about seeing Cole come up in his first year. How the Pirates able to turn it around and get to the playoffs.
Dale Swaim is going to go to a right-hander. Marlon Byrd getting some more congrats. He has given the Pirates and Garrett Cole this 2-1 lead in the 7th.
Transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Presented by authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
There it is, the 19th sellout of the year, matching the club record set in 2001 when PNC Park opened. They are enjoying just another thriller here. Watching their future ace, and the ace in the making, Garrett Cole, pitched like an ace tonight, giving up the 1 run in the first inning. Jose Tabata tied it off of Scott Baker, and Marlon Byrd gives the Bucks the lead, 2-1. Carlos Villanueva faces Russell Martin. Villanueva came on and gave up an infield single in the 6th inning last night and got Travis Snyder to line out to center. The infield hit by Marlon Byrd, who was announced as a pinch hitter last night. So Villanueva, part-time starter.
Guys just having to play the waiting game right now, watching to see what happens. Working over the seeds, the bubble gum. Nope, not going to go out and play defense now. Find the gloves.
Marlon Byrd gives the Buccos the lead. His 23rd of the year. Cole. Chance to pick up win number 8. What a job tonight.
Very dominating again now. We've seen him start to use that breaking ball, getting it out of the strike zone downstairs when he's ahead, getting the chases. And of course, when he does that, the strikeouts add up. When he really needed that big strikeout, though, he went with that fastball and blew it by him. And look at the emotion he's showing. He is fired up. He knows that that was a big, big inning for the Pirates.
Scott Baker did a heck of a job.
Similar results, two different styles.
Marlon Byrd, boy, when he went out to right field, the right field section gave him a great ovation, and he waved to them, appreciating the support. He loves being a Bucko.
That section back behind the screen over the scoreboard, that's the bird cage.
Yes, that's right. Felix Piet is now in left. Donnie Murphy is the batter. And stabbed by the new pitcher, Tony Watson.
Watson just getting better every year. He's here with the Pirates. Become much more of a complete pitcher this year, using change-ups, breaking balls. He still has that very good fastball that he runs inside the right-handers. Obviously, looking at the numbers, like a lot of his mates in the bullpen, having an outstanding season.
Clint Hurdle made it a point to tell us the other day to just take a real close look at the job that Tony Watson has done. Without a lot of fanfare. Tweets being scrolled at the bottom of the screen as Clint Hurdle's club trying to bounce back from a disappointing loss last night. This guy here at the plate, Rizzo, quieted the big crowd last night. Towering 2-run homer off Grilly. Hurdle said Grilly would not be used tonight, but they got to get him back out there. They continue to groom him to get back in that closer's role. To right, Bird. Two away in the 8th. New Bird in town.
The old Bird's not going to like that.
Nate Schierholtz.
Where is the old Bird? See him around here.
They're heading to the bottom of the 7th in St. Louis. The Mariners are leading the Cardinals 2-0. Washington Nationals are trailing in their game in the 7th inning to the Phillies 5-1. And a bouncing ball to second. An easy 1-2-3 inning for Tony Watson. Mark tomorrow, final game of this series against the Cubs, 1:35, and all kids 14 and under will take home a Starling Marte Fathead Jr. wall decal thanks to Mrs. T's Pierogies. And we invite you to come out early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone just outside the ballpark on Federal Street. And after the game, kids are invited to run the bases. Go to Pirates.com for tickets. It's supposed to be a beautiful day tomorrow. There is Starling Marte, hoping to contribute with the bat, and that's another great sign. Jordy Mercer takes a strike. Johnny Murphy stays in the game at third.
You were sitting down in the dugout watching this game, Greg. Would you be sunflower seeds or bubble gum?
Oh, nice little pick, but then a bobble and a throw, and still gets Mercer.
What do you think? Seeds or gum?
Probably seeds.
It's been about 50-50, I think, tonight.
What would it be for you? Or what was it for you? Seeds weren't all that popular back then.
Oh, no. Seeds were extremely popular, yeah.
Really, that early?
I would say seeds in the dugout, gum pitching. Oh. In fact, that's exactly.
When did seeds start to pop up?
Always
Really?
there, yeah. Always tons of seeds. The one thing that there was a lot of that you don't see so much anymore, at least I don't, is the pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds were very big. They've kind of taken a back seat. Sunflower seeds have always been there. Of course, now they have different flavors too. Didn't have the flavors.
Travis Snyder is pinch hitting for Felix P.A. We'll assume that Starling Marte will then play defense in the top of the ninth. Snyder had a line drive out to center field against Villanueva last night in the 6th inning. Marte getting a helmet ready in case Snyder reaches. He's getting ready. Mark Melanson. We hosted the Buckaroos Kids Club and a couple members of the Shark Tank. Brian Morris, Jared Hughes, Tony Watson participated, along with catcher Michael McHenry. And one of them asked about that bobblehead. Is out there. Joel Hanrahan super glued. Oh, pulled foul. And so the Hanrahan bobblehead is out there, and as Tony Watson said, he's still kind of part of the bullpen, and that Shark is guarding Hanrahan. And one youngster said, then, is that the Hammerhead?
Very good. I like it.
I think it was Tony Watson.
Kids say the darndest
Yeah.
things. Isn't that what Art Linkletter used to say?
Yeah, yep. And Tony Watson asked if they would have Herbie Andrade nickname that Hammerhand bobblehead the Hammerhead. And here is Snyder indeed aboard. And we'll see if Marte doesn't pinch run for Snyder. Try and get an insurance run.
There he comes with the oven mitt.
Garrett Jones will down pinch hit for Tony Watson. Marte pinch ran in the 9th inning last night with 2 outs after Tabata had reached. Dale Swaim going to go to a lefty with Jones announced as the pinch hitter. Plenty of arms to go to. A lot of folks on the bench, so he will summon Zach Roscoe. Tomorrow, Travis Wood, the lefty, against lefty Francisco Liriano. Wood 9-11, ERA of 3.05. Liriano looks for win number 17, a 2.92 ERA. Tomorrow. Tonight, the Pirates lead 2-1. There is Francisco Liriano. The Cardinals are batting in the bottom of the 7th, trailing 2-0. Roskup faced one batter the other night, Justin Morneau, and he walked him.
Not have been a strike thrower. He looked at 4 walks in 2 1/3 innings.
Gabby Sanchez will now pinch hit for the pinch hitter Garrett Jones. Talk about lefties beware. Here's another guy, Gabby Sanchez, hitting .333 against left-handed pitching. A fly ball to center, right center field now. And a catch made by Sweeney. Well, with 2 outs, Neil Walker will come to the plate as Walker looks for his first hit of the series. He has flied out 3 times in this game. First inning flied out to center, flied out to left in the 3rd, and to deep center field in the 6th.
You would think it won't take too long here for Marte to take off. 2 outs. There it is. Get the cookies out of the oven.
Strike 1 on Neil Walker. Sellout crowd of 37,534 brings the season attendance to 2,007,174. Back-to-back years of over 2 million here at PNC Park. Third time in the history of this yard, drawing over 2 million fans. 5th time in team history. Pirates drew over 2 million in 90 and 91 at Three River Stadium. It is 2-1, and we can expect this to be Roskop's last batter. No way that Swaim would let him face McCutchen. Righty loosens in the bullpen. McCutchen has an 11-game hitting streak on the line. You'd love to see Walker reach, give him a shot. And not to forget about Marte.
They know why he's out there. Steal that base.
36 steals on the season. 4th most in the National League. Line drive center field, a base hit, and that will bring McCutchen to the plate. Neil Walker, who has been feeling more and more comfortable against lefties. It's his first hit after 10 hitless at-bats.
This wasn't any cheapie either. He was able to just kind of blast that center field. I was hoping that it would get down. I thought for a moment there it might carry all the way and become just a line out.
Since August 1st, Neil Walker is hitting .375 against left-handed pitching. just to underscore that point. And Swaim makes another pitching change. One, love an insurance run or two or three. Andrew McCutchen, a couple of strikeouts and a flyout against starter Scott Baker. His 11-game hitting streak is second in his career. He has a 13-gamer back in 2009, so second longest as Blake Parker faced McCutchen the other night and walked him intentionally. Parker faced three batters in the 8th inning on Thursday, gave a base hit, an RBI double, and then they intentionally walked McCutchen. McCutchen with Marte at second. A breaking ball for a strike. Will Walker at first.
A little help on that one. Oh, a little away, but that's all right. Catcher's got two more to do something with.
A broken bat, roller to short. Castro will throw on the first and just get Andrew McCutchen. So Mark the Shark has just one run with which to work. 2-1 Pirates. Henson heads to the mound, looking to save it for Garrett Cole. And Garrett Cole certainly deserving of another W. He is our Honda player of the game. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. He would go to 8-7. The Pirates can get 3 more outs. This is back-to-back starts, Bob, of what a total of 8 hits, 14 innings, 1 run.
He's a very well-deserved player of the game, maybe even just for that 1 inning. He was able to get that big strikeout. It's just a fantastic game, and as you just pointed out, there's 2 in a row where he has done a fabulous job. That last start coming after 4 losses in a row, and we kind of got whacked around a little bit there in St. Louis, and he was able to put it into it. You see Melanson's numbers, looking for save number 15.
Picked up his 14th save on Thursday. Pirates won the game 3-1. He struck out the first batter he faced, but Darwin Barney reached on a wild pitch, and then the next batter, Anthony Rizzo, singled, so it was 2 on with nobody out. He retired the next 3 to wrap it up for Jeff Locke. And Ryan Sweeney leads off for the Cubs. Starling Marte stays in the game to play left, and it's out of play. The Mariners add another run. In the 8th, they're up 3-0 on the Cardinals, as the Cardinals bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. Mark Melancon has recorded a save in 5 straight appearances. Ground ball to second. There's 1. It's one of the creative signs we see now.
It's a patient man right there with that one.
Yes, that's right. Batter now, Brian Bogusevic. Strike 1. Oh, 0-2. Nasty.
Look at that ball catch.
Not a very nice shark, Bob. Mark the shark.
Big shark. Yeah, he's not one of them ones that you just come in and trying to eat the little clams and stuff. No, he's got a bite to him.
Oh, it bites and back to the backstop, and now Martin throwing to first. Does not get him. There's a little bit of turn towards second, but he gets back, and for the second time against the Cubs, a batter reaches after a strikeout against Melancon. It was Barney in the 9th inning leading off Thursday, and here Bogusevic reaches.
I had 2 shots at getting him out. Right there, the strikeout had a shot, and he doesn't run right away. He doesn't realize what has happened. He's waiting for the strike call. Now he sees the ball's behind him. He saw the umpire called him out and still had a shot at throwing him out. If the throw is on the money, they got him. Maybe not. Maybe I was just seeing that with my heart, but it looked like it was going to be on time if they make that catch.
Strike 1. Now Wellington Castillo was the last out on Thursday against Melancon. He bounced to the shortstop to end the ball game. That would be just fine right now if he could hit a ground ball to Jordy Mercer. Castillo 1 for 3. Ground ball to short. There's one. There's two. And raise the Jolly Roger. Garrett Cole is 8-7. Melanson's 15th save, and another sellout crowd sees a dandy.
Yeah, Melanson has that perfect temperament for going out there and doing that job. He did not let that the wild pitch bother him at all. There was the tying run, getting on base. He just gets right back up there and makes his pitches. And what a great job Walker did turning that double play. That was not going to be necessarily routine. He had to really hang in there.
Save number 15 for Mark Melanson. The Pirates come back. They were down 1-0. The home run by Jose Tabata tied it. The home run by Marlon Byrd ended up winning it. The Pirates have taken 2 of the first 3 against the Chicago Cubs. They win their 86th game of the year. And we'll keep watching that scoreboard as the Mariners lead 3-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll keep you up to date. We'll send it out to Paul and T.